Broadcasting. And the channel is live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adventure on So Many Levels. We're going to play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons!
Aim my camera just a little bit. I'm Christiana Ellis, and I'm the Dungeon Master. Our players tonight, Jenny Meltzer as Zaleen.
Hello from the darkness.
Paul Fisher as Zinhorn Windborn.
Good evening.
Starla Hutchton as Carolina Swift.
Hello, friends.
And Mark Kilfoyle as Nedry Shiny Rock.
If you multiply by 2 and then take the alpha over 3, it might get the derivative of the kind of color of magic I'm...
So, when last we left our heroes, they, along with their sidekick, Evan, who is along for the ride and eager to help in whatever way he can, and your new colleague / Imperial spy, Ivy, is also along. You were here to investigate mysteries that seemed to be spiraling around a temple to a spirit named Marushka that seems to have something substantial to do with this mystery of Dinuther and all of the things that basically you've been investigating so far. As part of making your way here, you discovered that there was a hiring for mercenaries to come and participate in what seems to be a, let's just say it, illicit temple robbing gig. But you infiltrated this gig, found that the circumstances there at the outside of this temple were extremely creepy. And then, although you had gone to sleep, there were 2 of the people there who didn't believe that you were there just to be day laborers and basically asked you if they should leave before something bad happens, and you suggested, yeah, that maybe was the right idea. So 2 of them went off into the night. Night fell, and then in the middle of the night, you heard Zinhorn, while on watch, you heard the sound of approaching footsteps in the sand coming from multiple directions. And you moved to alert Carolina to this, and we're going to go ahead and roll initiative. And I'm going to put us on the map. Although one note regarding this map is that the map would seem to suggest that it is a bright and sunny day, when in fact it is an overcast and perhaps pre-stormy night sky. So it is dark outside, except for the slowly low burning embers of the campfire there. All right. And there is a turn tracker. Please do let me know if you're not able to see it or add your number to it. Got a lot of different parties in this particular. The noun that came to me there was hayride, although I'm not really sure why.
Who's doing Evan?
It's a good question. We've got Evan and we've got Ivy. Now, I will run either of those or both as you all like, but if one of you would like to take on either of them, that would be just fine. Don't everyone volunteer all at once. It's fine.
Where do we get Evan's thing?
I'm rolling for Evan and Ivy, incidentally, just for initiative. So yeah, if you search in D&D Beyond, because you're in the campaign, you'll come up with the homebrew of Evan Cresseldown. I've got their stuff up. Let's see. Let's roll for. Both of them rolled pretty low, which is just as well, since most of the party is still actually asleep. Boy, we got a lot of low rolls there.
I might as well be.
Okay, and then let's. Okay, so Zinhorn, not only are
Mm-hmm.
you already awake and alert that things are happening, but you have also rolled initiative first. So, lucky you, that gives you the opportunity to do some things. How about I go ahead and start some battle music playing, and then we will commence said hayride.
All right.
What would you like to do, Zinhorn?
Can I see uh,
You have
people?
heard you cannot at this time, or at the very least, um, you don't have dark vision, correct?
That is correct. I have blind sight from my dagger, which is, I
Right.
believe, 30
So
feet.
I've got some tokens on here that are technically supposed. You know what? I think you have. You can just see that you have heard footsteps from multiple directions at least 4 sets, but you have also you can just see at the edge of your blind sight to the south a hulking shape, almost gorilla-like in proportions, but a big, wide head. And it is this token
Okay.
down here that you can just kind of sense at the end of your blind sight, but it's dark.
All right. Okay. Um, I'm gonna see what it looks like when I hit it with Sacred Flame.
Okay, that is a dexterity.
Yep.
All right,
Dexterity of 15 save.
it got a dirty 20.
Yeah, I think that does not do.
Yeah, I'm afraid that's
No, that's
Dirty
a
20.
cantrip, so it just misses.
yeah.
All right.
So are you going to do anything else? You have nudged Carolina awake, but that's it so far.
Yeah, I'm gonna move over to wake up the wake up Nedry and Ivy.
Okay. Well, so you are able to handle this however you want. However, I would also allow for you to just yell, "Everybody wake up." That sort of thing.
Okay, I will yell, "Everyone, wake up!"
Yeah, so I'm just saying that that's allowed. So I want to make sure you knew that was one
Okay.
of your options. So you've gone
right.
back into the tent?
Get up! Yes.
Okay.
Get up! We're under attack.
All right. Zaylene, you are next up in your initiative.
Can I hear him from the opposite side of the tent?
Yeah. So I think that you are because you have just been alerted. You are waking up prone. You're a little bit disoriented, but I will allow you to take your actions.
Okay. I will stand up
Mhm.
and nudge Evan with the tip of my boot,
Mhm.
and then walk out through the opening to see what I can see.
Okay. You have dark vision.
Uh-huh.
It-
Superior dark vision.
Yeah. So what you see? Where is the
It
Where
was
is the
on
opening?
the.
Is it on the north side? I think.
It's like facing the tent, so it's not.
Okay, so it
it'd
would
be like
be-
the west side.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think looking out through that opening, mostly just what you see is, the tent and your friends, and you can see that Zinhorn is up. Carolina seems to be waking up. Everyone else is kind of in the same boat as you. They didn't get up quite so fast. I think that just outside of your dark vision range in this direction, you can see a familiar profile of creature.
Mhm.
It's big, kind of
Right.
flat frog-like head, long arms and claws.
How many feet was that? 112, was it?
It's basically like 120, just like 110.
Okay. I'm going to Eldritch Blast it.
Okay.
And now that we're level 11, I can do that 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
So... What the heck?
All right. 13 is going to miss, but a 21 will hit, and a 19 will also hit. Okay. 9 and 10 force damage, respectively. Those are some good rolls for your damage.
And that's my turn.
All right, so you emerge from your little shadow fort and fire off a couple of these eldritch blasts across the campsite, slamming into this this monstrous form that looks more familiar than you probably wish it did. And so next, it is these blue guys' turn. So one thing I don't know if we established previously, but certainly was always true in my head, is that this big tent doesn't really have, like, walls. Like, it has rolled up, like, canvases that could be rolled down, but it's basically open around the sides. It's just a roof. And so, doomp, 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 doomp. This one is rushing up, and it's going to start attacking you, Carolina, and it's going to do so with advantage because you're still prone. Okay. First, it's going to try to bite you.
Oh,
Yeah.
you didn't even ask me first.
It only got a 14, though, on that bite.
Nope.
Okay. You roll to the side, avoiding its enormous jaws, but it's also going to try to claw at you with these enormous, powerful claws that it's got growing out of its hands. Actually, you know what? That should have been a 17. I clicked the wrong thing. Did a 17 hit?
That would hit because I do not have my shield up.
Okay.
I was asleep.
So,
I'm going to be
so
honest.
instead, then you are actually going to take 13 piercing damage, and now it's going to claw at you also. That's going to be a 19 to hit. It's going to be another 13 slashing damage, and I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
This'll go well. 15.
15 is a success.
Ooh.
Well, but let's see about the second claw attack, which is a
Okay.
dirty 20 to hit. And another 15 damage. Yeah, and then another Constitution saving throw, please. A 14 is not a success. Even as that second claw attack rakes across your flesh, you find the wounds, in addition to the pain that you might normally expect, also seem to burn a little bit in an unpleasant way. An unsettling way, let's say, beyond the painful qualities. Zaylene, you hear from the side that you weren't facing another one of these things
Okay.
rush up, and it's going to attack you.
Okay.
It doesn't get advantage, though, because you're not prone. Okay. That's a 15 to hit with the bite.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hang on, my, let's see. I need to, do you guys remember where the setting is to, turn off the 3D dice on D&D Beyond?
No.
in any case, the 15 is the first hit, and then that's
How many
gonna
points
be,
was it?
13
Okay.
piercing damage,
Okay.
and then the 13 to hit.
That does not hit.
Okay.
I'm going to use my reaction and cast Hellish Rebuke.
Okay. Does it make a dex throw? Is that what it does?
Yep. Dex 16.
Okay. It gets a 21.
Okay.
They're actually not high dex, but they've gotten lucky on their dex saves so far. Okay, so that's 12. It would be half for if they
Yeah.
save. Okay, and it's fire damage.
Yep.
Okay, you see that the fire damage does flare out across its flesh, but it does not seem to be as hurt as you would have hoped. And it's now gonna try to claw you a couple times. That's a 14 to hit.
That is my armor class currently.
Okay. That's gonna be 14 slashing damage and Constitution saving throw, please.
Aww. 10.
10. Okay. You also feel the strange, unsettling, burning sensation as it claws you. Also, the next attack is an 18 to hit and does another 12 damage. There's no need to make a second saving throw, though, because you already failed that first one.
Okay.
Okay. So, that is the blue guys' turn. Nedry, I think you were awakened by Zinhorn's shout, but now you're also probably aware of two monstrous creatures attacking your party.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was definitely some screaming.
Is Lynn still on the ground? You didn't actually get a chance to get up?
Yeah,
is that right?
she's still prone, yeah.
Okay. Then from the ground, he will whip out his pen and draw a shield-like shape around Lynn and cast Protection from Good and Evil. So hopefully, I don't know what these things are, but they're almost always evil. So, where, what, where, who, and stand up and kind of back up a little bit, I think, so that he can see, put the back to the rock there and kind of look
Okay.
out. Stand up. Who is this?
That is one of the other workers that didn't leave.
Okay.
So
Right.
Carrie was the one you talked to the most, who left with someone but didn't apparently feel the need to bring everyone else with her.
Okay. And after casting that, his familiar blue glow forms around him as well.
Okay. So,
And that'll be it.
remind me what creature types Protection from Good and Evil does.
It is aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead.
All right, gotcha. So, next up is that guy who basically does nothing except sit up and say, "What? What's going on?" And he seems to not be. I think he does get to his feet and draw his weapon, but he is not aware enough of what's going on yet to take any other action. Carolina, it's your turn.
Ow. I'm in a bad spot right here, so I lost it. Where did it go? I am going to cast. There it is. I'm gonna cast Dimension Door,
Okay.
and I would have gotten a lay of the land a little bit before it got dark. So I am
Well,
going
you
to...
arrived at dusk and didn't get to explore much, but I'll certainly be a little flexible for you here. What's the idea?
So, hold on. Why does it look different on... Well, and I gotta refresh this real fast because
Okay.
it's like it's gotten me in a different, everybody in a different place than what it's showing on your screen. So
Okay.
it's weird. Hold on, zooming
right.
out. Okay, that's better. Okay, now I can do what I wanted to do.
Sure.
All right, so wanted to dimension door like up here to like the rocks.
Oh, so like up on the cliffs?
Yeah, how far up is that?
It's like 40 feet.
Oh, okay, so that's good then. And I'm gonna go like a little closer to the edge. So yeah.
Okay.
And then I am also going to use Healing Word on myself.
Dimension Door is a spell, and then Healing Word is also a spell. You can do a cantrip
yeah.
bonus action, but not a...
Yeah.
Another
Damn it.
spell.
Okay, so well, at least I am safe. Yeah. Oh, I am going to cast Dancing Lights. Kind of just like scatter around here because I don't have dark vision. I can't see anything.
Okay.
So probably just put them at like a radius like here
Sure.
and here.
Okay.
There's like 4 of them, so
So what that will do is, for everyone who couldn't already tell, it will certainly illuminate that you've got these 2 big blue guys. You got this red one over here to the west. These, these same hulking shapes, and then you've also got that mean dwarf overseer lady who seems to be normal, standing at kind of the entrance. But you notice in the light that she's got one in each hand, what look like the unresponsive bodies of Carrie and the guy she left with. No. Like, like holding up each of them by the scruff. All right. That makes it next one of these other guys' turns too. One of these other strangers. I think he leaps to his feet and he draws his weapon and says, "What the hell is that thing?" And he is going to run to attack it. Okay, and then that is the guy who is this one. And he has drawn a longsword. He's making 2 attacks with it. He gets an 18 to hit and a 10 to hit. The first hits, and the second does not. And then he's attacking with 2 hands, and he does 6 damage to it. And it snarls at him, and he takes a half step back. Okay, now it is this red guy's turn, and he's going to... I think he's too far away to attack on this round. Yeah. But he is going to... Let's see. I think he's going to charge up to be right up in your face. Well, let's see. I don't think he can actually get to... yeah, he can get almost to where you are, Nedry. Runs up, and I think he's not quite there. He had to dash anyway, but he looks down at you and then around at the rest, and he just says, "Well, now, isn't it nice to see you all again? I had so much fun the last time that I told my friends."
Well, you saved us so much time in finding you. Thanks.
Okay, it is Evan's turn.
Okay,
You running
he
him?
is.
Okay.
Yep, he is gonna get up and use 15 of his movement
Uh-huh.
and like just kind of like push out through the doorway
Sure.
to see what's going on because he can't see.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as he gets out there,
It's like, oh!
that dude's there, and he's
Yeah.
like, ah!
Yeah,
So
I would
he's
be.
gonna like push around me and come over here, and he's gonna do his multi attack.
Okay.
So he makes 3 melee attacks. Okay, so Is that like the short sword? Yeah.
18 hits. 21 hits. A dirty 20 also hits.
Okay.
Nice work, Evan. That's 15 total damage.
The 20 counts as a critical.
Oh, does it? It's a dirty 20.
Oh, I thought you said 20.
No. It is it's a dirty 20.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know, but it just like my brain.
Mm-hmm. No, that's fine.
Okay,
All
so
right.
he did all that damage.
Yeah.
Like 15 damage.
Okay. Also, just let me remember who has failed the saving throw. Here we go.
Me.
Yep. All right. That is that's Evan's turn. He's done.
Yep.
Okay. So Dwarf Lady here takes a few steps forward, tosses these bodies like she does not look like she would be strong enough to do this. But she's holding a dwarf and a half elf by the scruff, one-handed each, and just like tosses them forward. They land limp. And she says, "Those of you who were employees yesterday had better do your jobs or we will kill your families." And then she is going to cast Hurl Flame. One is against the tent, which immediately catches fire, the big red one. And then the other one, let's see. Is she within 60 feet of...
So this is
Zinhorn.
not fireball. This is just a hurl flame.
It's Hurl Flame.
Okay.
And technically, it's not even a spell. It's not a spell, Hurl Flame. It's a feature. So the Zinhorn, you are getting that's definitely going to miss. But I think it's a miss that sets your bedroll on fire. Or you know what? Not your bedroll, but who was? It sets Ivy's bedroll on fire. So the tent roof, and Ivy's bedroll are now on fire. All right, and now it is Ivy's turn. No one took credit for her, right? So I'll just go ahead and do it. She promptly scrambles out of the burning bedroll. I think she is going to draw a javelin and hurl it at this the big one right here. That's a +6. It's a 12 to hit, which misses. But then she's going to nod to you, Zinhorn, and say, "I've got your back." And what that just means is that if you are going to she basically is going to help you and give you a benefit to what you do next. It's a bit like Bardic Inspiration, but not quite.
Okay.
Yeah, so what she's if you attack a creature with an attack roll, she's going to be able to do extra damage to it. Or if it's something else that you're doing, it'll give you a bonus to your roll.
Okay. I am going to. So it's my turn, right?
Yeah. Well, no,
Okay.
I'm sorry, it's not your turn yet, but when it is, we still have this goblin here who is going to stand up, and he heard what the dwarf lady said, and you see him looking like afraid. He looks over at the monster, and then he looks at the rest of you, and he does not attack this turn, but Zinhorn, he seems to think that you and Ivy are less scary than the monster is.
Well, okay. I can
So
think that for the moment.
yeah. So he is not attacked this turn. So now it's your turn, Zinhorn. If you make an attack roll, Ivy will be able to give you advantage and can do some extra damage to it.
Okay. I am going to cast Blade Barrier.
Okay.
And it looks like I can make a ringed wall up to 60 feet in diameter, 20 feet high, and 5 foot thick.
Okay.
And so I would like to make a circle.
Uh-huh.
Trying to.
How big is it as a circle?
Well, now I've got multiple circles.
That's
I'm trying
okay.
to get all 3 of them.
So, well, how big is the circle? Tell me how big. What's the spell?
It's up to 60 feet in diameter.
Okay. So let me draw a circle.
Yeah,
1, 2,
because
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
just verify that's diameter, not radius. 60 feet in diameter.
Yeah. Okay, so that green one looks like that's going to be your 60 foot.
Right, and I wanna get the curve of it to either to get all 3 of them in the arc of it.
Okay. So like that?
Yeah, like that.
Okay. So, okay.
All right. So, when a creature enters the wall area for the first time or on a turn or starts its turn there, the creature must make a dexterity saving throw with a target of 15. On a failed save, the creature takes 60-10 slashing damage, half damage if they save.
All right. So yeah, all 3 of them will, on their turn, need to do that. And so you've created this apparent, like, circular vortex of whirling razor sharp blades of magical energy. Pretty impressive. Okay. Do you do anything else on your turn?
I'm going to call out to the 2 fighters. They're going to kill your families anyway unless you help us.
That sounds like perhaps a persuasion roll.
All right. That's a 17 persuasion.
Okay, I'm going to do a quick intimidation roll from their boss to see if you've beat to set your DC. Not actually. Yeah. So I think they hear that and they see the conviction in your eyes, and then they also realize that you look like people instead of monsters, and they, at least these 2, seem like, you've got a point. That maybe we should not be fighting on the side of the monsters just because they threatened us. Okay. Zaylene, it's your turn.
Okay, as a bonus action, I'm going to cast Healing Word on myself.
Okay.
And then I've never done this before, so I'm asking for clarification. To summon my hex weapon, is that an action, or is it just a thing that you do before you attack? Like, does it count as an action? Do you know?
So to summon your
like, you can assign one of your weapons as a hex blade, as a hex weapon, and then you can just like summon it to your hand. And
is that
an action?
I'm going to say no for now, although probably it does say somewhere in your features. But I'll say for now that it does not.
Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to summon Lightbringer,
All right.
and I'm going to attack that blue jerk in front of me.
Seems like a plan.
Yes.
26 will hit. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Okay, and then that is just
10.
10 bludgeoning.
All right, because this is your mace that you got, right?
Yep.
Okay. Kablunk. You knock that creature alongside its big old toothy mouth.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is that your only attack?
Yeah, because I used my bonus action,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
I can't do anything else.
No, that's fine. I'm just checking. Okay, so that makes it now those creatures' turn. For the first one, let's go ahead and have him do his save for the blade barrier. This is a dexterity save.
Dex of 15. Yep.
Yeah, he gets a 17. They are rolling high on their dex, but they
So
will
he
still
takes-
take half of 60-10.
Yeah. So I rolled 39 for the damage, so he
Okay.
takes 19.
19. Okay, and that is slashing damage. All right.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, you see those knives slicing into him. His twin over here, though, is not in that field. And I think what you actually see, it's hard to tell with this other one because he's in this swirling field. But Zaleen, as you watch on his turn, it seems like he heals up a little bit.
Okay.
And now it is his turn. Evan is right there. I think Evan is going to get the bite attack.
Okay.
That is that's a natural 20. That's a crit.
Rip Evan.
Well, let's see. Okay. That's 19 piercing damage for the bite.
Okay.
Nedry will point over to Evan,
Okay.
and his blue shimmering shield flows over Evan. Oh, actually, wait. Oh, fuck. Pardon my language.
That's right.
How far away is he?
Evan is exactly 30 feet from you.
That's perfect. That's the range of arcane wards. So
All right.
that takes the damage instead.
Okay. So it takes all of the damage?
Yep, 19.
All right, great.
Okay.
He is also going to get attacked with a claw.
Okay.
That's going to be an 18 to hit.
Yep.
Now it's going to be 14 piercing or slashing damage for the claw, and he needs to make a Constitution saving throw.
I'm actually going to use. Let me make sure I still have this as my reaction. I have a thing where I can take his damage.
Okay.
It's called life transference.
All right.
So I'm gonna do that, but would he still have to? He like doesn't lose any hit points.
Okay. I mean,
But
I
I
don't
take
have it
them.
up. Okay, so you take the
No,
damage.
I'm looking at it. I'm just
Okay.
wondering, does he still have to do the Constitution saving throw?
Oh, you know what? I'll allow that. Yeah, you are able to essentially like magically take the blow for him. So no.
Okay.
All right. Did I already say how much that damage that was? Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
so
14.
I think this big blue guy kind of sees that magical transfer, and he just kind of says, "Fine, you want it? You can have it." And he goes to attack you with the other claw. Gets a dirty 20 to hit
Yep.
for 11 slashing damage.
Okay.
Okay. That makes it your turn, Nedry.
Okay. Oh no. Nedry will
Also,
step
you
out
probably
and...
have no idea where Carolina went.
No, but she's probably safer
Hmm.
than where she was. Nedry will be taking a few steps out, sort of looking around and judging distance.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, gotta make sure I get the right. Yep. He casts blindness at 4th level,
Ooh.
which is this guy, and this guy. All have to make a Constitution saving throw
Okay.
of 17.
All right. Let's try that. Constitution. Okay. That's a 12 for the left-hand blue guy. That's a 19 for the right-hand blue guy.
He saves.
And then the red guy, it's cocked. Gets a 19 as well.
Okay. Well, this guy then is. Oops. Clicking on wrong screen. This guy's
No.
blinded.
Okay.
He can save at the end of each of his turns.
All right. Okay. Any other action?
Probably backing away a little bit more. Yeah. Oh, actually, doing a corner. Nope, it's gonna stay there.
Okay.
The place looks worse.
Yeah. Surrounded a little bit there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that this guy, shoot, what does he do? Yeah, I guess your persuasion would have worked just the same on him as it would anyone else. So that guy has a light hammer, and he is going to, I guess, run over here and try to attack the blue guy with it. And he's going to roll and get a 12, which misses, unfortunately. I think he just unfortunately clangs against a particularly tough bit of his shoulder hide, and it doesn't do much. Okay. That makes it now, Carolina, your turn.
So, we've fought this red guy before, or one of his kind, their kind.
One of their kind at least, and this one specifically seemed to suggest that it was the same one, or else they remembered you somehow.
So, being that we've had contact with these creatures before, would I know whether or not they're immune to charm effect? Because my memory is failing me.
I don't think you would know one way or the other. I mean, I don't recall that you learned that one way or the other in the last time.
Well, because I'm not sure on that one, and
I will let you make an Arcana check if you want to try to guess.
Actually, first I want to squint at the one in charge that was a dwarf.
Unfortunately, you're too far away.
I'm too far?
You're up on top of a 40-foot cliff.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I'll make the Arcana check just
Okay.
because why not?
Mhm.
Oh, nope. I have no idea.
Okay. Yeah.
I am dumber for having made that check. So, man. I know they can shapeshift. With how high does the blade barrier go?
My guess is 10 feet. Tell me.
20 feet.
20 feet.
20
There you
feet.
go. All right.
Okay. So does that count as cover for them at all?
No.
No? Okay. I have a few options. I have to decide which one to go with.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'm going to try, now that I'm thinking about it, because I saw some fire getting tossed around. I'm gonna try out. Oh, healing word. I forgot. I'm gonna use my bonus action
Okay.
first. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm not gonna do that level spell. We'll do this one. So I get 18 back, which is better than nothing. And then I'm going to try out one of these new songs.
Okay.
And I'm going to use the Agni Pareksha.
Okay.
So
remind me what
while
the detail?
playing this song, the player and all chosen allies of the player that can hear the song are immune to fire damage, provided they are good aligned.
Nice.
And my shield is up.
All right.
Well, can I do that? Like, because I have to be
I think
the
it would
lute,
be
right?
hard to play the
Yeah.
mandolin while you're holding your shield.
Maybe I can like stick it in the ground and hide behind it. I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna try that just because I'm up kind of high and they've got the blade barrier and yeah.
Yeah, so how about this? I think we can maybe rule that in the future you can strap your shield to your arm and then be able to hold up your shield and play, but it will take you an action to do that.
Right.
All
Okay.
right. Okay. That's your turn. And now we have this soldier guy who is going to try to attack the big guy. I think he's attacking into the field that he can see is slashing at it, but he is outside it safely, so he's attacking into it. 14 to hit, which I think, no, does not get that guy. 13 to hit. Unfortunately, not able to help much that turn. Now it's Mr. Red here. It is... Actually, you know what? I just realized that this blue guy should have gotten his attacks anyway, right? Like, I rolled his saving throw, but that doesn't mean he doesn't get a turn, right? He should have been able to move out of the barrier, right?
Yeah. If he chooses to, he can move.
Yeah,
out.
so I just realized
I would
that...
prefer he stayed.
Oh, sure. No, I can understand. But I think when I did those creatures' turn, I didn't do anything for him. So I'm afraid I'm going to... They're smart enough to be able to move out of an area that's obviously hurting them magically. So I think he would have come around here, and he's going to... Let's see. I think he's going to try to bite this other soldier guy.
He is blind.
Oh, you're right. Technically, his turn would have been before he was blinded, but that's all right. I will, I'll still allow that he's blinded now. So let's see. It's rolling with disadvantage. That would be a 13 to hit. I think that does miss that guy. So with the bite, and he's going to try the claw. It's also going to miss. Yeah, and then I think he's going to... Yeah, I think because he keeps missing, he's just sort of flailing wildly now. He's going to keep trying with the same guy. 15 to hit. Ah! He missed. Just his claws rake across the guy's chainmail armor without doing any damage since he's blinded. But now he's going to try to save to beat the blindness. 12. So he's still blinded, I think, right?
Yep.
Okay. So now it's the red one's turn. He's going to make a dexterity save to try to get out, or to react to the blade barrier. That's not going to do it. That's just a 10. So that's full blade damage for him. Ready with that blade damage, Paul?
I rolled 39 the first time. Do I roll?
Yeah,
for
you
each
roll it
one?
for each one, yeah.
Okay.
You see that he does regenerate a little bit from his previous wounds, but he's probably going to take a bunch more now.
Okay. $35.
Okay, yeah. So he regenerated his previous injuries a little bit, but then takes a bunch more. He's definitely hurting, but he's going to come out of that area, and he's going to charge at you and attack you, Nedry. Going to first try to bite you. Gets a 17 to hit.
Trying to remember where my last turn was. Yes, I have a reaction. So shield.
Okay. All right. So that makes it miss.
That makes AC 20.
Okay. So he's going to try to 2 more claw attacks there. 13 and that'll do it. The 18 plus 6, 24. So that's going to be 11 piercing damage, and I need you to make a Constitution saving throw for me.
Okay. The shield takes 8 of it.
Okay.
First of all, take the other 3. And sorry, what kind of
It's piercing
resistance?
damage and then Constitution saving throw.
Constitution saving throw. 19.
You save.
Ooh.
All right. It still hurts,
Wait,
but it's fortunately relatively minor. But there's a you made me bleed my own blood element. All right. That is the red guy's turn. Now it's Evan's turn.
Okay, Evan is a little shocked because he got hit, but nothing happened. So he's going to multi-attack again.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. 10's not going to do it. 26 will. 24 will. All right. That's another 14 damage. Not bad.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's his turn.
All right. It is now Dwarf Lady's turn to try to beat the blade barrier. That's gonna succeed, so she'll take half damage. She gets a 19.
So I roll separately for her, right?
Mm-hmm.
$33, so she'll take 16.
Okay. I don't think she had taken any damage yet. She is not going to push out of the circle. She's going to move to the center of it, where away from the 5-foot thick barrier. Does it say that it obscures space through it?
No, it does not.
Okay, didn't think so. All right, she is going to, from there, hurl flame once at each of these 2 fighters who are not helping. That's a natural 1 with the first guy, so there's more fire in the tent. The tent is rapidly, like, an inferno soon here.
But anybody that can hear me is immune to fire damage.
Oh, yeah. Would you have considered these other people here at the camp your allies in the same way?
Well, they're not actively attacking us, and we were trying to help them earlier, so
Okay.
everybody's a friend until
yeah.
they're not.
So I think that she manages to pelt that goblin full in the face with this blast of fire, and he goes, ah! But the fire just sort of blasts off of him harmlessly. And she's like, what? Oh. She looks up at you in frustration. All right. That's her turn. It's Ivy's turn. I need to figure out how her stuff works a little bit better, because I think she can be more helpful than that. Well, I think what it is that at least that time she did a thing that only helps if you make an attack action, and then you didn't make an attack action, which is okay. All right, so she is going to get out of this burning tent. And I think she, up in the air, is going to make a diving attack at the red guy here. She is using her javelin as a weapon. She gets a 21 to hit and is going to do 12 piercing damage to this guy. And then she is going to use her bonus action to disengage away and return to the air. So she is currently flying up around here. Okay. That is her turn. So now it is this goblin guy's turn, and he looks down at how he's not burned, and he says, "I'm invincible!" And he's going to charge at this blue guy and start trying to
Oh
attack
no,
him.
we've made another one.
Yeah. Let's see, what is this guy's thing? He's the wizard. So yeah, he's actually not going to charge in this case. He is going to instead cast Melf's Acid Arrow, which he does a spell attack. 21 to hit, that's going to hit, and then that's going to be 4d4 acid damage, and then 2d4 at the end of the next turn. Okay. Alright. As he fires out with his wand, a bolt of acid fire trails over this blue guy's flesh and does 8 acid damage. But it looks like it's continuing to sizzle as it drips down his shoulders. Alright. Zinhorn, it's your turn again. This tent that you're currently standing in is burning down around you.
Okay. I don't know that I'm immune, do I?
Well, you know that your armor would give you resistance in any case.
Okay.
I think you do
I'm
hear Carolina's song, but you wouldn't. I don't think she necessarily told you what it does.
Okay. I'm gonna move here.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to use my metallic breath weapon
Okay.
to push this guy 20 feet back into the blade barrier. He
Nice.
should wind up next to the red guy
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
and on the green
well,
line.
so let's see if that he gets a saving throw, right?
He gets a saving throw versus a strength,
Okay.
and the DC is 14.
All right. He rolls a 16. I'm afraid. I think he's got these enormous, powerful arms, these big, long claws on it that he just digs into the ground to hold himself in place against your breath.
Okay.
Snarls at you.
Now,
idea.
I guess I can cast Spiritual Weapon as a
Bonus action.
bonus.
Yeah.
Bonus action. So I can do that even though I have a concentration spell up, right?
Yeah. Wait. So spiritual weapon
Okay.
is not concentration, if I recall correctly.
I don't think so. Let me double check.
Pretty sure it's not.
It is not concentration. Not concentration.
Okay. Okay. You've got your hammer.
All right. So my hammer is gonna come into existence right here, and so I am attacking. I don't know if I still get Ivy's bonus.
No, because you didn't do it that turn.
Okay.
She was basically set up to do like a coordinated attack with you, but then you didn't attack anybody.
Got it.
It's like, it's all right. We'll know for next time.
Hold on. That's
No?
yeah, just gotta find it. There it is.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I rolled a 15 to hit, which is a 22.
Okay. Yeah, that hits. 12 force
Okay.
damage, eh? All right.
Yep.
Clonk! It smacks him and makes him bite his tongue. All right. Zaylene, it's your turn.
I am actually going to crouch down real quick, right where I'm standing. I'm just going to crouch down. I'm going to put the tower on the ground, and I'm going to tap on the door and disappear inside the tower.
Okay.
And while I'm
just
in
putting
there,
you down in the corner.
I'm going to fetch Buster, little hamster-sized Buster,
Yeah.
and ask him if he wants to go see Zinhorn.
Okay. I think that it will, because you had to get the tower out and then do all of that stuff, what I'll say is that you can emerge with Buster on your next turn.
Oh, I'm not going out yet. but I'm
Okay,
gonna
well,
push
you can.
Buster out.
So you can push Buster out on your turn, your next turn. All right,
That's fine.
gotcha. Okay. And because you sort of magically disappeared, there's no attack of opportunity there. Okay, it is now these blue guys' turn to continue attacking. This guy is going to attack, bite against Evan. That's going to be a 25 to hit, I'm afraid. For 10 piercing damage. And then a claw attack, one against each of these guys. So first against Evan again. Natural 1, critical miss. I think he gets one set of his claws stuck in a crack of the shadow fort.
Nice.
But he does have another hand, so he uses that hand to attack the other guy. And only gets a 12 to hit, which is actually that guy's AC. Yeah, so that's going to only be 9 damage. That guy's not super tough. He's okay. He's not down or anything. But, he can't take a hit like that quite like you guys can. He's going to make a Constitution saving throw, and he's going to fail that Constitution saving throw. All right. Okay, that is that guy, blue guy's turn. This guy is going to bite and flail his claws wildly at this other fighter and at Zinhorn. The tent is currently, dropping burning ashes and embers onto you, but you're immune to fire. So it's very cool, actually, I think. That you're standing in this tent as it's sort of just an inferno around you, but you're just doing just fine. But he is going to attack with disadvantage against, first the bite against this fighter guy. That's still a dirty 20 to hit for, 16 piercing damage. That's a hard hit for that guy. Then one claw against that guy, and then one against you, Zinhorn, but still rolling with disadvantage. Okay, that's only going to be a 10, so he misses his claw attack against the other guy, and then against you, Zinhorn. That's still a 19. But you've got...
My AC is 20.
Yeah, there you go. His claws just rake against your fancy molten bronze armor, and you just feel it repel the claws. All right, that is the blue guy's turn. Nedry, this red guy's glaring down at you.
Yeah. Okay. He starts to sketch midair as usual. This time it looks almost like an infinity symbol. It glows more than normal. That's the side effect of him having to cast with the higher level slot to them out of that particular slot. And he turns it backwards in an entire full rotation and casts slow.
Okay.
On the red guy and the two blue guys.
Oh, nice, nice.
Around
okay.
Carolina, the protection fades.
Okay. Well, she's up out of range anyway, so just as well.
So that's a wisdom saving throw, 17
Wisdom
difficulty.
save. Okay. So let's first the red guy. Wisdom save. He does have advantage naturally as magic resistance, but he's also got a shooty wisdom. So with advantage, that's a 16.
That's a fail.
All right. So the red guy is slowed. Snail. There you go. And then the blue ones. Blue ones also have a bad wisdom. But they also have magic resistance, so. That's a 15 for the first blue one. And then for the other one. Ha ha! Yeah, they all fail. They're all slowed.
Awesome.
That is good news for you guys.
So it has a lot of effects.
Yeah.
-2 penalty to AC and dexterity saving throws. Can't use reactions. On its turn, it can use either an action or a bonus action, but not both. And regardless of whatever it usually can do, it can only take one melee or ranged attack per turn.
Yeah, that's a big deal for these guys. Yeah.
And spells are really slow. So Nedry's going to back away from this one here.
Okay.
And see
No
if this
reaction
takes
because he's
effect.
slowed. I think what you watch as you back away, you see him try to swipe at you, but it's just can't make it. You know, you're able to duck away in time. Very nice. Your magical energy warps space and time around them. They are slowed. Good job. This guy over here is looking a little desperate, like he can't take hits quite like you can, but he is nonetheless in a fight for his life here. So he is continuing to attack this big guy. Gets a crit. That's nice. Good for him. So that's going to be 8 bludgeoning damage against the Mr. Blue here. All right, Carolina, it's your turn.
So the specifics of this song say while I am playing it. Doesn't say while I'm singing it. Am I reading that correct?
Yeah, I think you could have an instrumental portion if you needed to say something else. But it does take your hands, so if you wanted to do a spell that had somatic, yeah.
Right, so that's what I was looking for. Now, I have like 2 things that are vocal only. And one of them is Dissonant Whispers.
Okay.
So, I'm looking at this guy that's like right here in front of me that was right by Nedry a second ago.
Yeah, got your mandolin solo playing while you speak the words.
And I'm going to whisper a discordant melody that only this guy can hear. And so he has to make a wisdom saving throw, 16.
Bad at wisdom. Yeah, he got a 1.
Ooh. Does that affect me in any way, or just roll?
Why would it affect you?
Well, I don't know. Never mind.
Okay.
So that is 10 psychic damage.
All right.
And it has to move as far as its speed allows away from me. But it doesn't move into obviously dangerous ground.
Yeah, so I think that he will, because he won't go into the circle because it's obviously dangerous. But I think he can go this way.
Isn't the tent on fire? Would he go between them?
I think that he's not worried about the fire. You've gotten the impression that these monsters are not super worried about fire.
Cool.
Yeah, so he's running that way. All right. That is your turn. Anything else? No?
Nope, that's it.
All right. This fighter guy, I just realized, should get advantage for his attacks against the blinded one. So he gets
It also has a -2 AC.
right, yeah. So advantage 11 plus 6 save. Yeah, so he's going to hit with that, and then the other attack is going to be, yeah, those are both going to hit as well. So he hits twice with his longsword. For 4 damage and for 12 damage, respectively. Nice. Okay. Chopping away. All right, it's now the red one's turn. He is... while they're slowed, would it have reduced the movement speed as well? Probably
It halves
does,
your
right?
movement.
Okay, so he wouldn't have been able to make it as far as I had him move, so he would be there instead. I think he is actually looking down, though, at you, Nedry. And said, I don't like this. And he is going to still try to make one claw attack against you.
Okay.
That is a 17 to hit.
Shield.
All right. Okay. Evan's turn.
Okay, Evan is still there with that dude, so he is just gonna multi-attack him again.
Okay.
So he's gonna take 3 attacks.
Wait. Oh, yeah. No, I did it right. No, that's fine. We're good. 3 attacks.
So-
So 9 is going to miss. 14 is going to... Wait, no. 14 would usually miss, but doesn't while he's slowed. So the 14 and the 25 both hit for another 16 damage. Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys, you're whittling these guys down.
Yeah, and then he's gonna look around and be like, "What?" Because I just disappeared.
Yeah, where'd you go? Well, the little tower would be on the ground, right?
Yeah, but I don't think he saw me put it there.
Okay, so that was Evan's turn. Okay, it is now... Let's see, what does she... Yeah. She is going to move up just to the... just to where she is still safe from the 5-foot barrier. And then she is going to cast Fear. Actually, she's going to do it... It's a 30-foot cone? Yeah, it's a 30-foot cone. So this is going to be against these 2 fighters and Zinhorn. I need you to make wisdom saving throws. Oh, and then I guess I make it for these 2 other guys.
Yeah. I got a 15.
Okay, you save. The Goblin also saves. The other fighter... does not. Actually, she's got a pretty crappy DC now that I look at it. So yeah, she growls that didn't seem to have the effect that she wants. But she is nonetheless going to point over to where Zaylene was and say, "Grab that thing!" All right. That is her turn. She usually would like to do more than that. But unfortunately that DC is, she's got a 12, DC 12 spell save DC, which, you know. Anyway, all right. So, sorry, what's her next turn would be Ivy, who is going to go ahead and do another diving attack at the red guy. That's the one she'd been attacking so far. So she's going to dive down at him with her javelin, and get a 13, which, because of slow, once again, is going to hit. She'll hit this time. Wouldn't ordinarily. But those are some low damage rolls, so she only does 6 damage. And then I think instead of dashing away this time, because she can tell that he is slowed, she is going to move away over here and to Evan say, tag team it. And so she will, he'll get advantage next time he attacks it. And then she'll get to make a coordinated attack. All right. So that is, let's see. Yeah. Okay. Then, sorry, her stat block has some unusual things that I'm still kind of figuring out. Okay, now it's the Goblin Wizard guy who is once again going to, first of all, there's 2 more D4 of acid damage from the acid arrow last time, which is another 5 against this guy. And then he casts sorry, we got a complicated encounter here. Okay, he is going to run around here and cast Gust of Wind against the blue guy and try to blow him back into the blade thing. So they need to make a strength saving throw against his DC, which is 13. So it's pretty good. It probably will. Yeah, it does. It saves against him, but he's got the spell still up. So it's having to dig in and force its way against the gust of winds trying to blow him back into the blade ward. All right, your turn again, Zinhorn.
All right. Can I get to here, or will I take a?
Well, I mean,
opportunity attack?
you're like, how would you be? What path would you be taking? Just moving in a straight line is taking you right through the enemy spaces.
Yeah.
Although they are slowed down.
1,
and
Well,
unable
that
to
doesn't
really
mean you
react.
can move through their space, though.
2,
True.
4, 5,
Okay.
6.
Yeah. You ordinarily would take an opportunity attack, but not because they're slowed. But
Okay.
but you won't because they are slowed. Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
I am going to use my lightning breath weapon.
Okay. Remind me the range of that.
And 15 feet, so
Okay.
I can get
Okay.
both of them, right?
Yeah, you can, and you won't hit the ally on the other side of them.
Right.
Yeah.
And they will have to make dex saving throws
Okay.
with a target of 14.
All right. First, the blue guy. 6, fail. Red one. 14. No, 16. Sorry. So that one succeeds.
Okay. All right. So I got 15 points of damage.
What kind of save was that?
Dexterity.
-2 from the slow.
Oh, right. So it would still. So the red one still got 15. So, wait. So, okay, yeah. So I guess it would fail. Yeah. So they both fail as a result of that, but they also both only take half damage anyway because it would seem that they are not terribly bothered by lightning. They do still take some damage. The red one in particular is looking pretty rough.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna hit him with my
Oh, the red one should have regenerated a little bit on the last turn. I didn't do that.
okay.
But, yeah. Okay.
My spiritual weapon.
Mhm.
All right. 12.
Okay, 12. Which one are you attacking?
The red one.
Okay, yeah, 12 does hit the red one because he is slowed.
Okay. And 18 force damage.
Yeah, oh, he's looking very rough. All right. Zaylene, it's your turn. You're staying in the tower, but...
I think I'm gonna come back out.
Okay.
I was chicken because I only have like 31 hit points, but if I die, I die.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to just grab Buster and like sit him in front of the door,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna open it and come out.
Okay.
So,
Ba-zoom.
Mark, are you gonna take care of Buster?
Yep, I can do that.
All right.
Okay.
Do we roll initiative for him?
Yeah, go
or
ahead.
what's
Roll.
the-
Roll initiative for him.
And then I will use my action to pick up the tower and put it back in my pocket.
Okay. All
Oh,
right.
I'll need control of Buster.
I just
to...
give it to you.
Okay.
Um,
I got 11 initiative.
What's his
do I
dex?
still have a bonus action?
I mean, no. Sorry.
Okay.
You did a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
Okay. All right. That was your turn, Zaylene. It is the blue guy's turn. They're going to start their turn by, once again, regenerating a little bit. All right, and now, do they get to try to save from slow?
At the end of their turn, yeah.
Okay, the red guy should have gotten to try to do that last time. So let me do that for his turn. This is the first turn the blue guys have had since they were slowed. Okay, red guy fails. He's still slowed for sure. Okay, I think the blue one is going to try to claw Evan. He's going to get a 14. I don't think hits Evan. Okay.
Nope, he's 15.
All right, and then the other one is going to looks at Buster and I think can't resist moving over.
He's blind,
to,
so he doesn't really see him.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, so I think he's still flailing wildly at this other guy then. Disadvantage. That's still a dirty 20 to hit. Okay, ooh, 15. And that guy is down. Also, hang on, let me double check something for that guy. No. I think... Okay, yeah. So there's another thing that can possibly happen but doesn't under these circumstances. However, this guy is down. Okay. He is, and now the blue ones are both going to try to beat their slow, and then the blind one's going to also try to beat his blind.
Yeah, so slow is a wisdom, and blindness is a constitution.
Okay, so first against the blind. Let's try that. 8. Okay, now wisdom for the left one, and that's 2. And wow, and then a 6. So they are still both slowed, and then the one is still blinded. All right. That's their turn. Your turn, Nedry.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, she's come back out, so I don't have to worry about the tower now. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I think Nedry's gonna sort of edge back here a little bit so you can see the mage and cast blindness on the mage.
Okay.
Constitution 17. Yep.
All right. That's a 14. She fails. Oh, you know what? Okay, yeah. Alright, she does fail. Alright. Anything else for your turn?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Think. Yeah. Okay. That is Nedry's turn. It is now Buster's turn.
Seeing his dear friend being attacked, he will go ahead and attack the red one with everything.
Sure.
Let's see. So, bite first.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good start.
So basically, he just bites its head right off, just, and then the whole
Whoa.
thing sort of explodes into like sticky, foul-smelling glitter, and then the whole body of it just sort of dissolves into nothing right in Buster's mouth.
I figured Buster's kind of doing that dog shake the head, kind of spat it all
Well,
around.
yeah, but the whole
thing
thing just
as well.
disintegrates as soon
Yeah.
as it's chomping through.
Buster's not that smart, so he'll keep doing it until he realizes it's not there. Then go, "Whoop, arr, arr, arr." And the next one over. Do much the same sort of thing. This time claws with advantage. So
Yeah.
I'll roll that the second time because I forgot. Second time's a 24 to hit.
Yeah. All right. That's 16
And that's
slashing.
just yes, 16.
Okay.
And the second hit is a 15 to hit.
A 15 would just hit normally, and in this case, certainly does.
For 10 more.
All right, yeah. Does some nice solid damage in addition to taking the red one off the field. Good job, Buster. Good boy.
Did not expect that.
Well, the red one was the one that I told you was rough. He's not as tough as the two big blue bruisers.
Yeah. But he's the one I wanted to talk to.
Well, yeah.
No, Buster, no.
We'll scoop up the glitter and speak with Dead.
Yeah.
Speak with glitter.
All right, so we got this other guy here who is the bosun is what his title is, just so you know now. And he rolls a 13 to hit, which just hits the slowed one. And gets 7 bludgeoning damage. Clonk. All right. And Carolina, your turn.
Well, it worked before, so I'm going to, let's see, I think Buster's got that kind of in hand. But this guy that's in the blade barrier here hasn't taken a lot of damage or anything, so I'm going to try Dissonant Whispers again.
Okay. That's a wisdom saving throw? I believe that's...
Yes.
Yeah.
16.
Nope. I got an 11. So what's this?
So that is 10 psychic damage, and they got to
Okay.
run away from me.
All right. Well, they do, but they stay within the. They stay outside of the danger part of the circle.
Right, but they were still further away from my friends, so.
It's true. All right.
Actually, they're blind. Do they even know where the circle is?
They can sense it. Well, you.
How
So
do
how
hear
about,
the
They can
blades.
hear it.
How about this? They avoid. You don't know necessarily how.
Okay.
They do avoid it.
Ah, okay.
All right. Anything else from you, Carolina?
Nope.
All right.
Still playing my song. Everybody's still immune from fire.
All right. This guy's dead. So Evan's turn.
Okay, he's just gonna keep doing what he's doing.
All right.
Attack that guy in front of him.
All right. 23, both of those certainly hit. 14 does hit because he's slowed.
Okay.
Boy, that slow
So-
is really that's an MVP spell in this particular circumstance for sure.
22 piercing.
Nice. Okay.
And that's his turn.
Yeah. Okay. Did I did. Yeah, never mind. I was trying to remember if I had done the regeneration for them. Okay, so this one over here regenerates. Dwarf lady. Or is she? And is going to disappear.
Does that look like a spell?
Yes.
Counter spell,
Oh,
I think.
yeah.
Are
the
you in
range here.
range?
That's what I was just checking. 60 feet, I think.
Yeah. Okay, hang on.
Right. So I got to check the spell myself. It's been a while. Counter spell, 60 feet.
60 feet. Yep. That counts then. Yep.
Okay. And I have to upcast it because I don't have that many spell slots, so it's at 5th level.
Okay. Well, that's certainly
makes a
going to work.
difference.
In this case, it works. So you see her start to cast a spell but it looks like it would have been invisibility, but you unravel it before she can complete it.
Just draw an X over her. Cast a spell.
So, and then she's going to try to beat the blindness. 15.
Nope.
You've got a ridiculous spell save DC. All right, that's her turn. It is Ivy's turn. She's going to try to do her swoop attack. Oh, Evan should have gotten advantage on one of his attacks. So if you want to roll one more to see if one of them would have been a crit.
Okay.
Nope.
Nope.
But she's going to get to do extra damage on her attack that's coordinated off of his if she hits. So she is swooping in to attack. Gets a natural one. So I think that she swoops in, but it sort of reels out of her way for just a moment, and I think she basically she ends up crashing into the ground, sort of planting her javelin almost accidentally like a pole vault and flipping over backwards on it. Okay, that makes it this wizard guy's turn. He is going to maintain his gust of wind. He's still trying to make that work, so the blue slot is going to I shouldn't have said the word, but the blue guy is going to continue to do his let's see. Oh, the blue, they should be doing it on their turn anyway. So he's holding that up, and he's casting Ray of Frost on it in addition. And he hits, and it's going to do 1d8. 7. It would do 7 cold damage, but it looks like the cold doesn't bother him much anyway. But he's got the wind still up, so on the blue one's next turn, he needs to save against that. Okay, it is your turn again, Zinhorn.
Okay. I am going to cast Aid on Nedry, Zaleen, and Evan. They get 20 hit points to be used first.
Nice.
Are they temp HP? Is
No,
that how it
the
works?
aid is real HP. Temporary increase to your real maximum.
How many was it?
20.
20.
Nice.
Yeah, maximum and current. Cool.
Yeah. All right. And that
And-
lasts for 8
and,
hours, I believe.
Yep, my bonus action is my spiritual weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be a 23.
Okay, that hits for 11 force damage.
Yep.
All right. Okay. Okay. that makes it Zaylene's turn.
Okay, that guy who got knocked unconscious, or was he killed?
I think you can't tell from where you are.
But I can see him?
Yeah.
Okay, so bonus action, spare the dying.
Okay.
And then I am going to use my action to take 2 points off my Twilight Skin
Mm-hmm.
and cast her in my Swarming Dark Ribbons of
Oh, the dwarf lady?
Mhm.
All right. That's a 20-foot radius, if I recall correctly.
a 30-foot diameter.
30-foot diameter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's make that a different color. Just for... Oh, come on. Ugh! Dear Roll20, cut me some slack, please. Thank you. What? Like, it's not giving me the little change the color message thing. Okay, well, you'll all just have to imagine that this is a shadowy sphere instead of just another green one, because Roll20 won't let me change the color right now for some reason. Alright. Okay, she is now enveloped in your swirling ribbons of darkness.
I'm happy about that.
Alright. That was Aileen's turn. Now it's the blue guys, and they're gonna regenerate. You're still whittling them down, though. You're not regenerating as much as you're doing to them every turn. But let's see, this guy, now that he's been attacked by Buster, he's definitely going to swing out with a claw in that direction. Disadvantage. That's still going to be a 21 to hit.
Okay.
And then that's going to be 16 slashing damage, and Buster needs to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. He's good at those. Not 15.
Okay. 15
And then
just
Buster-
saves. Yeah.
Buster gets angry, slashes back. at
Remind me
advantage.
about that feature. Does he get to choose who he's attacking?
Actually, no. It's a random creature within its reach, other than its master.
Yeah. So the goblin is just right there too.
Okay.
So roll a any even number die to.
Okay.
So,
1 is target.
Okay.
1 is target.
okay. All right. Yep. So go ahead and roll your that attack.
So 20 to hit and 20 slashing damage.
Nice. That's a heck of a reprisal.
That make Buster angry.
Yeah. Okay, so now he's going to try to once again beat the slow. Nope. 7. And the and the Constitution 8. So still both. All right. Now this other guy, I think, senses Ivy prone and is going to try to do his one attack on her with advantage. That's going to be 21 to hit for 16 damage, and she needs to make her own Constitution saving throw. Okay, let me look and see what her stats are.
Just want to check the distance there. Is Ivy within 30 feet? Oh, no, he can't see her anyway 'cause she's on the other side of a rock.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Okay, and then, not that you guys have any way to know this in character without metagaming, but she fails her Constitution saving. Alright, and then he's going to try to beat his slow. Nope. Still, not great for them. Alright, so that makes it your turn, Nedry.
Okay. So they've been regenerating. That's not fair. He will draw what looks like a mage hand in the air, and as it moves away from him, it gets this ghastly, bony, deteriorated look, and he will cast Chill Touch at this one. If I can get the clicking going, there we go. On the
Just say
one
that.
that's
Yeah, there you go.
blind and deaf, and that's let's see, an attack with spell attack with advantage. Can I? There we go. 26
Alright.
hits.
For sure.
It takes 13 necrotic damage. The claw claws into it and holds there for the next turn. It cannot regain hit points until the start of my next turn.
Very nice. And it's looking really rough, too, that one. Okay.
But having heard Ivy scream out, he will make his way across the battlefield as quick as he can, which is not really all that quick. So he ends up there.
All right. Okay. Buster's turn.
Ruff, 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 chomp. Oops, that's it with advantage, so that's a 24 to hit.
Yeah.
Well, I'll roll it again in case he gets crit. Whatever. Nope. All right. So 10 piercing.
The same thing happens. It just he bites a chunk out of it and it just explodes into like bad smelling sticky glitter.
Clearly, this is his magical ability. Headbiting.
Shoot, I deleted the one that had his turn on the initiative. I think they were before Buster, right? Yeah. After Nedry, before Buster.
Buster considers us friends, right? Or at least
They're
not
after
enemies.
me.
Oh, okay.
So he'll kind of run around rather than through and over. To end it there.
I think that he would perhaps.
Well, let's do it dramatically. He just
How about
jumps over
this?
their
I'll make a
heads.
dexterity save for the goblin to see if he. Yeah, he manages to leap out of the way. So it's not that Buster isn't conscientious. It's just that he's not. He's big and galumphy. All right.
And he'll take his 2 swipes at the other one.
Okay. 11 is
11
gonna do it.
probably misses.
Yeah.
And 17 will hit though. 15 slashing.
Yep, sure will. Okay. Okay, that's Buster's turn. This guy is thinking, "Oh my God, I cannot believe that this is working. This fight is way over my skill set. I have taken a job beyond my capabilities, but seems like it's working out more or less okay. Let's try one more attack. Nope, that one's not gonna work. Clunk." He just glances his light hammer off of one of its claws. All right. Carolina, it's your turn.
Is that guy still down?
Yes, although Zaleen did cast Spare the Dying on him.
Okay.
I think you don't have any way to know. You would only just barely be able to see him now that the tent has completely burned away.
Okay, but he's still laying there.
Yeah.
And I can't see the person in the ribbons, and that guy's surrounded, so I'm gonna hit him with Healing Word in between
Okay.
verses or something.
Yeah, I think as long as is Healing Word just verbal?
Let me double check. Yes.
All right, yeah.
So we give him back.
I kind of imagine it's like in between the verses. They're sort of like, ah, heal, ah.
Well, I think
it's like it's part of the song.
I think as long as you've got the, like you can have an instrumental section, mandolin solo. 5. Okay. Yeah, you see him sort of shift down there in the tent.
Better than nothing.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark. You can't have Buster there because that's where my building is.
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh, is that what that was? Sorry.
Yeah. I was like, how did
How
Buster get in there?
how about this? You made it only 10 feet tall, right? He just jumped right
Yeah.
up on top of it.
That's good.
Yeah. It just reminds me, like 4-footed animals. Like we used to have big dogs when I was a kid, and we had an 8-foot fence in our backyard, and they would habitually jump high enough to look over it. Yeah. So yeah, something Buster size, he just literally just hops right up onto it like Rocket jumps onto the couch. All right, that makes it this guy's turn. Actually, he sits up and he looks around. I think he can't tell where that came from. He's just like, wait, what's happening? I've lost the thread of this a little bit, but he does stand up. Okay, Evan.
He's just gonna keep doing his thing.
Yeah. All right. Both of those are hitting. All 3 of those hit.
And then the
He's been
last one
getting
would be a
some
crit.
Good rolls. Oh,
The
sure
last
enough,
one counts
yeah.
as a crit. Yeah.
So go ahead and roll one more d6 for that. Well, so that should still only be a 6 again, but still not
Right.
bad.
So
Yeah.
like 6. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it would be 14.
So that's still 28 damage. That's some nice sword work from Evan there. Snicker snack.
He's getting sick of this blue guy.
Oh yeah, I don't blame him. All right. Deep within this swirling orb of shadows, you don't know what that character is doing. I'm going to put her on the GM layer because you don't know what she's up to. All right. Ivy's turn. She's going to stand up. And she is going to... yeah, she's going to go ahead and just make a javelin attack while she's there. Gets a 24 to hit to do 3 damage. But she calls out to, sir, I'm afraid I haven't gotten your name, but if you wouldn't mind jabbing him just there, I'll help you in the next go-round.
Christiana, I lost your sound.
Does anyone else hear me?
No,
I
you
hear
sound
you
fine to
fine.
me.
Okay, I think it's just you, Paul. Okay, can
I
someone
can't
else
hear
tell Paul
anything.
that it's just him? Can't hear anybody?
It's just you, Paul.
Paul, can you hear anybody? You can't hear me.
No.
Ask you.
Paul,
Can you hear
me?
anybody?
Okay.
No?
He'll
Nothing?
figure that out. So in the meantime, that was Ivy's turn. It is Goblin Wizard's turn. He's gonna come up here and he's thinking, it's like, well, shoot, Ray Frost is no good. How about this? He's going to, yeah, he'll cast Melf's Acid Arrow again. So that's a +5 to hit. Nope, critical miss. I think the acid arrow zips on by into the dark sands beyond. All right. So unfortunately, it's now Zinhorn's turn, but I don't know if he can hear us. Paul, have you got it figured out? Are people chatting to him? Okay. Working on it.
Can
Okay.
you hear us now or anything, Paul? Doesn't
All
look
right.
like he.
Well, so it sounds like he's still working on it. We will temporarily skip Zinhorn's turn in the meantime. Something just changed. Zaylene, you want to go ahead and take your turn?
Yeah, I can do
Hold
that.
on.
Okay.
Oh,
I
can
gotta
you-
redirect this. Hold on.
Okay. Can you hear us? We're... Okay, so like, go
Nodded.
ahead, and Zaylene, go ahead.
okay. So, yeah, I don't even know. I'm going to... I'm gonna hit that guy with, my mace, I guess.
Okay. All right, a 19 will hit. Okay, for 9 damage, and this guy's looking extremely rough right now.
Oh, so then for my bonus action,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to cast Spiritual Weapon
Yeah?
and hit that guy.
Alright.
I'm gonna cast it like right here.
Okay. I dragged it on. It takes forever to appear. Okay, go ahead and roll your attack for that. Was that the
24.
looks like there was a
What?
roll before that. It was 14.
Yes.
Okay, 14 does still hit because he is slowed.
So 10.
10 force damage. Describe how your spiritual weapon destroys this fool.
Like it comes out and it's all like how it is, all smoky and beautiful and everything like that. And it just like wallops the top piece down like on his head, and he just
Yeah.
and it's all glittery and beautiful.
All right. So here's the question. Nedry, you are up. It is your turn. All of your visible targets have perished.
Right. It's only the invisible ones that have perished. Actually, that makes a lot of sense.
So I would basically say whether or not you are still in initiative depends on what you all are doing now.
I mean, there's a lot of obscurement going on, right? There's the whole snaky things and...
Well,
and...
the blade barrier is still up, I believe, and then also Zalene's swirly massive shadows.
Okay. I just have to see how this works because this is new. Yep, okay. I will, because I know the spell, use my boon to cast See Invisibility.
Okay. Well, I mean, you wouldn't be able to see through the shadow sphere anyway. But you
True.
can cast you can have that.
And then start moving kind of down and around.
Okay.
Try to see if there's something below here or...
All right. I mean, so does See Invisibility have any sort of a range associated with it?
I think
I'm
it's
not
just
sure if
your
it
normal
does, if you just,
sight
like-
range.
Right.
Let's
It's
see.
just that your invisibility doesn't hide it any longer.
That's right.
Okay.
And you can see into the ethereal plane.
Sure. So yeah, you do not see any sign of this dwarf lady, if that is what she is.
Okay.
But you have that up. Okay, Buster's turn. What is Buster doing? I think he doesn't see any. Maybe he's growling at the strangers. I don't know. I think Zinhorn would probably try to soothe that.
Yeah, I think probably looking to Zinhorn for direction, but also kind of taking menacing steps forward.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the question. Is anybody else doing something that seems combat related, or are you all feeling like, okay, now you can sort of take a breather for a moment, because at the very least these wards are up? Or tell me what you're
Well,
doing.
I'm still singing, or I'm still going with the song because the person that was throwing the fireballs is still in play, as far as I know.
Yeah. How's it going, Paul? Can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Although you sound like you're on a cell phone.
My Bluetooth is the only thing I've got close to hand.
Okay. Well, that'll work for now. All of the other enemies are dispatched, except you don't know about the one was in Zalene's swirling sphere of doom. Would you drop your blade barrier? Okay. So now it can be approached at least without having to pass through that.
Oh, you're muted.
Correct. Yep. And I'm gonna send my my spiritual weapon over toward the ribbons.
Okay.
Zaleen, what's gonna happen if I try and get my spiritual weapon through all those ribbons?
It doesn't say.
I mean, you can't see inside it anyway.
Yeah, like you can't see in there.
Okay.
Does true sight pass through magical darkness? Is it affected?
Well, it doesn't. It's not magical darkness. It's just really.
It's-
It doesn't. It's not
Yeah,
like
it's
faint.
it's like physically obscured. It's like total cover. So it's not really darkness. It's more like it's obstructed.
Yeah, so you wouldn't be able to guide it in there, and you can't go in there either, or you'll get trapped in there.
I think Ivy flies up to you, Carolina, and asks if you want a ride back down to the ground. Would you need a
That
lift?
would be nice, thank you.
All right. She can't easily fly with you in tow, but she can kind of like, you know, you do a slow fall essentially. You know, to the
And
point.
I will not complain about being grabbed where I have been scratched and whatever.
Okay. Well, I mean,
And,
I assumed she was holding your hands, but you tell me.
Oh, okay,
If you,
yeah.
If she,
Well,
she
because
doing
I'm still
bridal carry?
playing, so how does
Fireman
that work?
carry? Okay. Well, if you say I can't give you my hands because I'm going to keep playing, then she's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, I think she'll basically just have to like grab you around the shoulders.
They'll
Yeah,
scoop
like-
you.
Yeah, she'll-
That's fine
yeah.
because I don't trust that we're not going to get fireballed in
Mhm.
any second. So and then
All right.
so from there I want to move.
So
Let me
I
go,
believe
like,
your
here.
your thing lasts 10 minutes. Is that right, Celine?
Yeah.
All right. So my hammer will disappear before.
Oh
that.
no, it lasts for 1 minute. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I
so
can drop
tell me what you're all doing. Are you going to wait until it drops, or
Well,
I'll drop
why don't
it.
we move? Why don't
I'll
we move
move
closer
closer,
first?
Yeah,
Can y'all tell me?
Nedry would want to move closer too. So,
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll move closer. I'll bring my spiritual weapon.
oops, wrong thing.
And
Just keeping a general eye out for anything.
Buster, he's gonna move over there too. Evan's coming.
Oh, actually, I will do something different.
This Ivy, she's coming too.
Nedry's worried about there being more of them
Okay.
because they're starting to travel in packs.
Hmm.
So he has to upcast because I don't think I have any lower spell levels. Where's the spell? Why can't I not see the spell? I'm blind to my own spells.
Oh,
Help,
no.
help. Oh, there it is. It's a level 4 spell, so I have to upcast to level 5. And he will cast Locate Creature because he wants to know if any more of those things are around.
Okay.
Because
So-
it might be summoning more.
What creature are you locating in this context?
Tanglefoot's ilk.
I'm not sure you can make it that broad.
Well, it's you
Like
know, a specific kind, so
Hmm.
Do we even know what Tanglefoot people are called yet?
Well,
like, we
I'm
don't
also,
know
like-
what they are.
I'm also like I tend to feel like I don't know
Like, I
that
don't-
locate creature is supposed to be like, for example, if they're like,
So it's you can locate a specific creature known to you or the nearest creature of a specific kind, such as a human or a unicorn. And as
Okay.
long as you have seen such a creature up close within 30
well,
feet at least
but
once.
for example, I would say the red ones are not the same as the blue ones,
Okay.
right?
Then probably the blue ones, because Tanglefoot seemed to be more unique.
Okay. Well,
And
he
it
also
doesn't work
wasn't,
through
he wasn't
polymorph and
blue.
toast.
He was gray. Tanglefoot was gray.
Oh, sorry, it was red on the screen. That's all it was.
Okay, no. So The red one was not Tanglefoot. It was the one that you fought in the dragon's lair in the elemental plane
sorry.
of fire.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
misunderstood. Because we didn't know that one as well, so I was thinking the familiarity was from Tanglefoot. Pardon
No.
me.
Yeah, we thought we killed it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we did.
Yeah.
It
Right.
turned into
Apparently
glitter just like these ones did.
Yeah, they don't die
Buster did it.
as much.
Hmm.
Yeah, Buster did it.
That one is going to
fun.
have a complex when it comes to gray renders.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, he'll just keep an eye out then, rather than casting a spell.
All right.
All right. Is everybody where they want to be?
Oh, actually, one more thing. Sorry, I just realized Nope, I've already used it today. Never mind.
Do you want to put Buster over behind, like closer to the end over here, like near the water?
Oh, near the water?
Yeah, so that way he's like close by when I drop it.
Okay.
And I will drop it.
Okay. You drop it, and you do not see anything except for Nedry, who does see her invisible in the center of it. But then, as soon as the sphere is done, she is going to take off running invisibly.
Dispel magic.
Okay.
Level 5. Again, I'm kind of out of lower spells.
All right.
There she is.
Okay. Yeah, so I think that just that works, and then she kind of stops where she is, and there's a moment I think where she's looking around at all of you, and she just holds up her hands for a second and says, "I don't suppose you'd care to have a conversation first."
Did she just parlay?
Well,
Nedry, put her in the bag.
Okay, I can try.
no, she's going to keep running then.
I'll hit her with lightning,
How are you going to do that? She's running away.
my breath weapon.
Okay. You're chasing after her then?
Uh,
She's running away.
Well, while she's doing that,
Okay,
I'm going to
I'm gonna
cast
use-
Eldritch Blast at her.
Yeah?
Yeah, we're all gonna cast a bunch of stuff, I think.
Okay.
Um,
So here's the thing. I'm going to go ahead and say is if you're fighting and not talking, I'm going to hand wave the rest of this.
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Well, I want to stop her. I don't want to kill her.
Well, I think you didn't seem to want to have a conversation. You attacked her. You said you were going to put her in a bag, and that she's not into that. So she's going to fight for her life, and if you're not, so tell me how you think you're going to keep that from happening.
Oh.
I
Hold
just
person.
cast Eldritch Blast 3 times.
Okay. All right. So I think 2 of those hit. Yeah, Starla?
Yep.
I'm gonna stop playing and I'm gonna cast Levitate.
Okay.
Well, technically it would be with my mandolin, so I would still be playing, but a different song.
No, it's if you're
How does
casting
that
a
work?
spell with it, you can't be still playing your other.
Yeah, well, that's what. Well, but the spell is through the mandolin. that I
Okay,
have.
but what I'm saying is you can't be
Right.
playing that spell and some other
Yeah,
song.
no, it would.
Yeah.
A different song.
Yeah, so you're not still
Yeah.
playing the other song, is what I'm saying.
Correct.
Yes, okay. So, what save does she get for levitations? Constitution, I think?
Constitution 16.
All right. Nope, she fails.
All right, she is lifted. We'll do
Mhm.
15 feet in the air, just
Mhm.
floating there. Can't push off. It's just
All right.
out.
She says, I was just standing there already offering to have a conversation. But you suggested that all you want to do is imprison me, and that I'm not interested in.
It's mostly because of the company that you keep. We do have questions. I'd rather talk to you.
what assurances do I have that I will not be destroyed or imprisoned if I answer your questions? Because if those are my only two options, then I think I'll keep my answers to myself, thank you very much.
I mean, don't be evil.
All right.
Who are you? And how do you come to be with those? Have you had bad dreams? Have you known them long? Are you wearing any unusual items?
Oh. We were so worried. You lot don't know anything, do you?
Nedry, why don't you just cast the thingy that lets you sense the corruption? Although I think it's pretty obvious.
Well, if you think it's important, I'm a little bit worn out.
Well, I mean, like I said, I think it's kind of obvious, but, you know, what do I know?
Well, okay,
But
but
I don't think we're gonna be friends.
Well, that's fine with me. What I'm looking for is I'm willing to offer information in exchange for being released once our conversation is through. Alive.
Are you going to come back and get us later with more friends?
How about this? I won't. I can't control over the actions of others, and I know that many of my compatriots will still want to kill you, but I will promise you that I will not. That's the best I can do.
I want to squint at her, see if she's a shapeshifter.
Oh, for sure she is.
Yeah, so she looks like those other guys?
She's green,
Ooh.
but otherwise, yeah.
Guys, it's a green one. I didn't know they came in green. There's like what if we got a whole bunch of them and we could like stand them next to each other and be like a rainbow? How fun
it
would
was
that be?
actually pretty dangerous to see just 3 colors at once.
She
I
says,
think the blue,
"Oh well,
the blue guys were different things.
I suppose I might as well, if the secret's out of the bag, so to speak." And she suddenly transforms from this dwarf woman to a green one of these
Tanglefoot.
frog-like things, except
green
that
Tanglefoot.
Tanglefoot was gray.
Well, right,
Okay.
but that's like we're
Yes.
using it as a broad term.
All right,
Yeah, he's a class now, not a person.
fair enough. You are allowed to think that.
The tangle feats.
Unless we have a
No,
name
we don't
for them
really
at
know
some
what
point.
they're called. Like,
Yeah.
I
Right.
know, like, what they're called.
Well,
but
right,
you
okay,
don't.
so there is a creature name in the D&D books, but that does not mean that's what these are in
Right.
this world.
Right, but we haven't run across any name for them just yet,
That's
so
true.
we have a label problem.
Yeah.
Do you have a name? It's easier to talk to someone who has a name.
You want me to have a name? Why don't you give me one?
Hey, you works for me.
I will answer to whatever you like under the circumstances.
Check for my TLA dictionary, but what I called Tanglefoot. But it doesn't seem to apply anymore. What is your purpose here? Are you just here to hurt
She starts
us?
to cast a spell. Nedry, I think
Dispel.
you recognize it as detect thoughts. Are any of you doing anything? She's casting it.
Yeah, I'm going to levitate her another like 20 feet in the air just because I can.
Okay.
Maybe it'll distract her.
I'm going to counterspell
Okay.
at level
yeah.
3.
Counterspell will do it. All right. She just says, I wasn't hurting anyone. It was just supposed just fine, whatever. Thought it might be an aid. I can help you actually figure out the questions you want to ask since you seem so incapable of working it out yourselves.
Well, it's not that we don't want to ask them. It's just that we've tried asking them before and got really weird answers that didn't really make a lot of sense. You guys aren't known for being straightforward.
Well,
Or
I would
on.
suggest rather instead that you lack the fundamental background on the subject matter and therefore are not able to understand the answers you receive.
What are you looking for here?
Oh, well, a way back to dinner there, of course.
Back to? Is that where you're from?
It's complicated. In a manner of speaking.
Well, because we know you guys want to break open the seal that's got all that stuff put away, but
That, yes, that part. That's part of it.
you're from there, but not from there. See, this is what I mean. Is like you guys don't make any sense.
Well, it only doesn't make sense because none of you know what you're talking about. That's not my fault.
Right.
There is some missing context, that's true. You can explain. You are answering questions.
Yes?
So tell us what the missing context is.
Well, it has to do with the fact that Dinotherian magic draws upon energy from another plane that none of you seem terribly familiar with. And, as a result, there tend to be consequences when it is misused. And, I think that although you will probably say this is still confusing, I don't know a better or more clear way to say it than we are manifestations of those consequences.
So the problem with pulling on dreams is you create nightmares as a side effect.
It's pretty close. I would say as an allegorical, metaphorical sort of answer, yes, more or less.
Hmm.
So why do you want to get back there?
Well, because we are consequences, right? We are consequences of actions taken within that bubble. And it feels uncomfortable.
So you want to be in the bubble.
Oh, yes.
But if you're in the bubble would still stay in place, or does the bubble have to come down in order for you to get in there?
Oh, well, I suppose if there were a way in without disrupting the bubble, that would be acceptable. However, we are fairly confident that there is not. So,
Right, and that would be boring, right?
well, no, uncomfortable. I said this already.
Well,
Aside from potentially being afraid of us, was there another reason why you attacked?
Because you are trying to stop us? Is this unclear?
Just
So-
fear.
I thought
Did
that part you
you-
knew.
Were you looking for us? Like waiting for us to come?
We suspected that you would follow.
How
Are there
many
any more of you around here?
Yeah, what she said.
Well, when you say around here, see, you're not asking these questions very well. You give me so much latitude.
Okay, so are there any more of you within, I don't know, like an hour of here?
How fast are you traveling?
Oh,
Are there any more of you here, like right at this temple? Right.
Yes.
Now? Okay.
are they inside?
Yes. They're ahead of you, I'm afraid.
Hmm.
Thought you were waiting for us.
Yes, because we didn't want you
Why?
to follow. We thought we would intercept you.
And how'd that work out for you?
Well, you know, here we are.
So if all you want is to get back there, wouldn't something like what's the spell that sends people back to their wherever they're from?
Banish.
Banishment.
But see, that's the trick, isn't it? We are not what we once were. We are transformed by the Dinotherian magic. I'm afraid you would find that you don't want us back where we were in our current state.
Huh.
That has already
So-
caused a great deal of trouble.
I wonder what would happen if Zinhorn, if you used the pipe on her.
You think like these
That
people are
is
just
an
possessed by
interesting
nightmares?
question.
No, like they are the nightmares.
They are the corruptors.
Yeah,
Wait, what pipe are you talking about?
none of your business.
Maybe
Well,
it's more like,
alright.
you know how people sneeze and like it spreads more of like, you know, when you get sick.
Germs. Yeah.
I mean, it
So they're
does. I'm
germs.
used to think of them as intelligent sneezes, but I don't know if that's accurate.
It's just a thought.
Semi-intelligent.
I mean, this one does kind of look like.
A sneeze.
They're not
Yeah.
mortal either.
No offense, sorry.
Why would I be offended?
Who knows?
So, are we done?
I don't know.
How many more are inside the temple?
At least one.
Where's the one we call Tanglefoot?
You guessed it.
No, that's where Tanglefoot is. So, what happens to you when you turn to glitter goo?
Well, it takes us a while to reform. It's a bit like, let's imagine that you have a bowl of breakfast cereal, all right? And you spill it on the floor. Do you still have a bowl of breakfast cereal?
Yeah.
Well, but it's all over the floor now.
Puddle of breakfast cereal.
But
edible.
theoretically, you could scoop it back into the bowl, right?
Yeah.
Where does that happen? Like, does it happen here? Like, I mean, this guy, the red one, like, they were definitely on the plane of fire the last time they died.
Yeah.
So, how are they now here? And did they go somewhere else, or did they come back here and reform? Or
I feel like this is not the most productive line of questioning. Now, I'm concerned about you now. I think you're wasting your time with that
well,
particular.
see, my concern is that
area.
if we kill more of you, if they're just going to reappear right here, or if they reappear somewhere else, and it buys us some time to just, you know, do what we gotta do.
Well, I'll tell you then this: we do not reappear right where we were. We
I
appear
do think the
somewhere
pipe
else.
might work.
Where's somewhere else though?
It's not
Where-
something we control.
Where are you going to go right now?
Where am I going to go right now? Well,
Yeah.
there are lots of other things I could be doing.
You're not going to stay here.
No, I promise I will not enter the temple. I will not stay here. I will not ever, in the future, return and attempt to kill you.
Insight check.
All right. What's your insight?
8. I believe everything she says. All right, guys, she's good. Let's go.
So, Nedry, when she comes down, she's just gonna float right on down. And if you were, I don't know, standing below her as she came down, you know,
She's
Bag.
big. She's like
could
the
catch
size
her.
of a grizzly bear. She's not gonna fit in the bag.
is she bigger than Tanglefoot was?
Yes.
Huh.
I don't know if that's going to work.
Bearing
got
in mind,
a
Tanglefoot was
polymorpher.
trapped in a small cage for a long time.
Did
Yeah.
we bring the mirror?
No, because we didn't figure out a way yet to shrink
Well, I
it
thought
down
we were gonna
into
put
a
it in the
little-
tower.
Did we?
I thought you left it in the castle.
Yeah, I don't
I
think,
think
we
we
did that
did.
yet. We were talking about it, but we didn't do it yet.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
You know, I'm hearing conversations that sound like reneging on an arrangement.
Oh, we definitely said you would be alive. We wouldn't
No,
kill you,
you
right?
said it was released.
But we didn't say where.
Now, that is reneging on a deal. Now, I would hardly
Really,
be the
not
person...
technically.
No, oh, come on now. Lie to yourself all you like, but I don't buy it, sister. You promised.
Yep, we did.
And,
So we
I
want more
wish there was a way
information.
to just drop the spell and like land her on the ground, but that's not.
But you have to hone that information, figure out exactly what you need to know, and in order to do that, we would have to keep her around for an extended period of time, which we said we wouldn't do.
Well, in exchange for the information we need, we did agree to let her go. But we haven't got the information she needs, and the more she holds it back, the worse her prospects look.
I'm
But
not holding back. You're asking bad questions.
yeah, like
Then what are the questions we should ask?
Well, See, this is what I'm talking about. I attempt to cast a spell in order to better understand what you know, so that I can help you ask the questions that you need, and then you counterspell me. What do you want from me here?
You don't need to know what we know. You already seem to know what we know.
So I am limited then in understanding what you want to know by the questions you ask me, which are, as
How do you-
previously discussed, bad.
How does your kind intend to get back to Dinethir?
Well, there happens to be a way to arrange for that in the bottom of this temple. Rather difficult to get to, but we are prepared to work at it.
What is this way?
Well, are you
Brute
not
force?
planning to go in yourself and see?
They said they were digging, right?
Foreknowledge
What
is.
people got hired for.
That part is mostly done. Done enough.
So brute force is the plan.
So far.
What dangers have you encountered in the temple so far?
Primarily, it has just been about distracting and pacifying Marushka. But I suspect that's not going to hold. In fact, I'm seeing an awful lot of unsettling crowds on the horizon right now. I'm sure that that's a storm a brewing.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
What do you know of the other storm? The one that cascaded across Bashan and other places. Was that your doing?
Well, it depends on whether... So, I will say, we didn't do it on purpose with a specific intent. How about that? It was a result of our actions, but incidental.
What was it exactly? I know it was a storm, and it had these weird magic-eating snail things in it. But what was it?
It was a dimensional ripple resulting from a detonation of the arcane planar boundary? There have been several as we've attempted to break the bubble in other ways. That's why we're at this stage of trying to find the mechanism that they have of maintaining the temple and the bubble here in the temple. We had tried a couple of other routes first that mixed results.
What was that one? What did you try to create that storm?
Well, let me put it this way. Again, this is not an attempt to withhold information from you, but it's a little bit like if I asked you, how did you cast that slow spell, right? It would take a while to explain because it's complicated. Yeah?
I like complicated.
Okay, but I think that if I were to spend the next couple of minutes explaining that in detail, I think it wouldn't actually be as useful for you as you think, because it is done and past and moved now. And at a certain point here, I'm feeling like I've done quite a bit already for you.
So, the book that we had, that we opened, what did that do exactly?
Oh, well, Tanglefoot got you with that one, I think. It was more of just, it created a ripple of the type that I'm talking about, but just a little one, just enough to let us all know that it was time. There were a bunch of us in hiding, you see, all over the place. But it was kind of a signal of sorts that was time to move the plan forward.
So you're all gathering here.
Not all of us.
How many of you are there?
So I think she sort of leers forward and just looks you dead in the eye and just says, lots.
Yeah. All right. So, what dangers did you did you expect to encounter in the temple?
Well, it happens that most of them are more in the way of dangers for mortal creatures such as yourselves, and less so about creatures like we. But there certainly are just physical barriers, a lot of intellectual and emotional resistance, attempting to just persuade people to turn around. Useless
What do
for
you know?
us.
What do you know about Percival Cankers?
He is a funny little fellow, isn't he?
Hmm.
He is currently all tied up, you might say.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
So how do you know him? Like, how is he affiliated with you?
Where
Your
is
people?
See, again, I feel like I can give you a simple answer that you won't like, or a complicated answer that would take all day, and then you still wouldn't like. Would you like the simple one?
Sure.
He has got himself stuck in between.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
In between what and what?
Dreams and nightmares.
Well, yes. And between here and there, and basically he is between everything.
So how do we get him out?
Do you want to?
Yes.
He's a little nuts, but...
He's more dangerous to everyone else.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
wherever he's trapped is not.
How about this? I believe that I've answered a number of your questions to the best of my ability. And what I will offer is, I will tell you exactly where you can go to have your best chance at releasing Mr. Cankers from his current predicament. And when I tell you this, that's the last one. You let me go.
Are there
Is
rowboats
that
here?
acceptable?
Looking around.
No, because it was the rowboat from the ship
Right.
that took you ashore and then went back to the ship. In
we
theory,
know the land
you would
route.
imagine in the morning the ferry's supposed to come back.
Well, we can't let you warn Tanglefoot. That wouldn't be fair.
So I've already promised not to go into the temple.
Which doesn't mean you can't use your brain powers to warn him.
That's true.
For all we know, they're a hive mind and they already know. I mean, they were already
I
expecting
will walk
us,
straight
so
into
really...
the ocean if that will satisfy you.
Maybe we should just let her tell us and...
Yeah, just
Call
get
it
it over
quits.
with.
Yeah.
So, where Cankers is, as you mentioned, is between everything, but between dream and nightmare certainly is one of the axes that he has stuck himself upon, and it is the means by which he accessed that location through dreams and nightmares. So, the way to reach him is through the same means. In a dream that has a little bit of nightmare in it. I know you've taken to calling it corruption, which is charming. But you don't need a lot, not enough to turn yourselves into something like me or worse. But just a little will do. Let yourselves have some of those bad dreams, and that's the way you can find yourself to Kanker's. Get even close, and I'm sure he'll call for help. All right, then.
Good to know.
Into
I
the
will
ocean
drop-
or by land? Shall I go?
I say you walk
Matters.
right into the ocean.
Deal.
Yeah.
It's been more than a minute, so I'm assuming she's on the ground already at this point. So,
I think it's 10.
Levitate
Well, let me
check?
double check. Let me double
okay.
check.
I thought you said a minute before, but if it's not,
I think that was-
Levitate is 10.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Jenny
well,
was
that's fine
hers
then.
was 1 minute.
So I think
But
then
yeah,
she will
I'll
gesture
let it-
down.
Yeah, and she floats gently to the ground, much to my chagrin. That's written into the spell.
And so she begins just. She doesn't even turn around. She's still facing you. She's just literally walking backward into the surf. And she says, "Good luck down there. I do hope you find your way all the way to the bottom. I'm sure you'll like what you find." And then she's just.
I do not like these creatures.
I wish Barishka would eat her. For real. Rude.
I do not like them.
No.
No.
They
But
say one
hey-
thing but mean nothing. And that's really annoying.
At least we know where Tanglefoot is. Everybody was
And I think
At
wanting to
least.
know that.
as you all kind of turn and look towards this this temple entrance, all of a sudden, Zaylene, you find that your amethyst key talisman begins to glow and float, and you find that the necklace, the gemstone necklace that you got from Selter, also floats right up out of your pouch, and they start floating towards each other.
Oh. That would explain some things. Maybe you're related.
There was one time I had a dream about a door.
They are moving towards each other. They're about to touch.
Um,
I'm gonna snatch the necklace out of the air. 'Cause I don't like it. It's like, nope.
As you do, Zaylene's necklace kind of like sort of jerks, like it's like magnetically attracted, but you're able to pull it away. But Zaylene, you feel in your head, entrust your talisman to one of your companions. I have other business for you.
I will reach out and I will lift it off and I will walk over to Carolina and just like lay it over her.
As soon as it's like even within a foot of the other necklace, they zip together like powerful magnets, and then there's a big flash of light, and when you all sort of blink past that, Zaylene is gone, and you look down at this key, and the amethyst gemstone is now swirled through with the teal gemstone of the necklace, and they have fused into one piece.
What just happened? And yeah, trying to fathom if there's any magical taste in the air. I don't know. He literally has no spell slots left. Well, I guess low ones.
I think all of you hear a voice from nowhere that says, "Zaylene has tasks elsewhere which only she may perform, but it is all in service to your larger quest.
Now?
Go and be well. She will be returned."
All right.
You don't think that was, I mean, the actual, like the darkness lady?
How does
Mistress of the
this
Dark?
key feel? Like, does it
I
hurt
mean,
me? Because
no.
like, okay, because like before, like somebody picked it up and like,
Yeah, but you
took
were
damage.
it was given to you.
okay,
Hmm.
well, like, I guess it's a promise.
Well, I hope we see her again.
I'll
But
tuck it into my shirt.
but wait, this is why I didn't study at the temple. No offense, Zinhorn, but gods really make me annoyed. It's like they just do things. They're almost as bad as that Tanglefoot associate. They always have reasons of their own, but they never tell you what they are. You try to fathom them, and they just change the rules.
I'm going to turn around and look out at the ocean and study the storm.
There is a rather nasty-looking storm coming on, and the clouds. I mean, it's dark, so it's a little hard to know, but there is a little bit of just kind of an ominous, like, feeling in the air. I will say you belatedly realize that these other workers that were here that helped you fight off have gone to check on their two other companions, but their companions are dead.
Were those the ones that we like told them to leave?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought when she threw them on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I need to rest.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Is this really safe to rest here, though? Oh,
No, because they
She
could just
took
send
the-
more.
she took the tower, didn't she?
Yeah.
No,
That's
okay.
awkward.
Zaylene's bag is there.
Yeah,
You-
like my stuff is there.
The intent is not that I'm taking that away from you. It's
Mhm.
just-
Well, it's not bonded to any one of us. It should still be polite, but it's
Maybe the key will work?
No, because that key is my it's my talisman.
I
It
think
is a
for
different
the
key.
We don't
sake
know.
of, I think because of
Trying
the
to weave it into the
magical
story.
yes, the magical circumstances, I think having the key on you essentially sort of
I
like
carry her with me.
I don't think you have like full control over it the way she does, but it will certainly let you in and out of
Is it attunable,
the key.
or was it a special circumstance? No, the tower.
The tower is
No,
attune-
I have the
it is an attunement. And so my point is it's just you can still like she's the one that can control it, but even without her here the attunement is broken because you have the talisman.
Because
So it's like having her with us, but not.
I can put it under my domain, I guess.
It's okay. I'd like to keep her close.
Well, of course. Although what is with her and keys? I never did get a satisfactory explanation for that either. I still don't even know what she is, let alone
Nedry,
where she came from, or where
Nedry.
she goes all the time, or
Nedry,
how this magic works.
Nedry.
What?
Some things don't need to be explained.
Oh, why did you have to go say that? He stomps off angrily, sits down, reads in his book, and writes notes because everything has to be understood.
So I think these other three guys do kind of come over and just say, just so if it's all the same to all of you, I think we're just gonna take the ferry back when it comes in the morning.
It's probably safest.
That's a good
Probably
idea.
the best thing to do. Yeah.
Do you think they have more of them back in the town? He said that they would kill our families.
Well, I don't think they're going to be doing anything about that for a while. But
I don't think their focus is you.
yeah.
Although you
I think
might
that
want to
would-
move anyway.
I would go somewhere away from other people
Did you get
for
paid?
a while.
I mean, the lockbox is still here, I assume. So.
And Nedry sticks his hand into the bag, rummages around for a bit, and hands them each 5 platinum. That should probably cover enough you need, and maybe to get away. It's probably safer if you do travel.
I think that'll work. Okay, so let's not. Yep, they're looking at each other and just like, okay, that seems. Yep, we don't need to discuss that anymore. It's all set. We're good.
That is the one time that I will not argue with Nedry's not understanding what things are worth. Not gonna argue.
I think there is a little. You all have a little bit of a shiver though, because the breeze starts to blow in from off the water, and it's cold, and it has a strange, almost kind of like electrical quality to it.
You should set the tower up in a safe spot where it's not going to be attacked by lightning, hopefully, and try to get some rest.
I will probably go like,
Well, so if it's not clear, I'm trying to bring us in for a landing here.
right.
Yeah.
Right. So I've probably set it up like up here, so it's kind of
Okay.
like tucked out of the way.
Sure. All right. So I think as you start figuring out kind of where to set up camp, we will draw tonight's session to a close. But we will find out more what's going on inside this temple. Whence Tanglefoot, and what other secrets lie in store for you. We will find out when we return next week for more adventure on so many levels.
So many
levels.
All right.